Hello guys, welcome back to my channel on this Thursday evening. We're quite late in the evening, it's about 10 o'clock. I've just thought I'd whack out a quick Noodle film review because I watched a movie this afternoon. I've been off work, so I sort of watched one of my sort of new movies. So I thought I'll give you a little review of it. And this is a film called I See You. This edition, it's an Arrow film. There we go, and it comes with a different sort of like a reversible sleeve. So I'll give you a little review of this film today. It won't be a long video, but I'll give you a little synopsis first. First of all, this film is about it's about a real dysfunctional family, pretty much, that living in this quite large, expensive house. I believe the husband is a well, the mother, who's played by Helen Hunt, is a doctor, and I believe the husband is like a police sort of like detective. And they got like a son with them. Anyway, the film sort of starts off in like the town, which is quite a nice little town, to be honest. It looks quite picturesque with a nice river and bridge. And there's a young lad cycling around on his bike through the woodlands by the riverside, and he sort of like gets he kind of like gets um supernaturally taken off his bike. So that's quite strange, and he gets taken off his bike like that, and he disappears, and no one can find him. So there's a big sort of like search party on for the lad. Not just the police, but the whole town come out. As you see, looks like it's quite a small community, and everyone seems one of those communities that everyone knows everyone, and so the whole community sort of come out and start looking for him, and there's all over the news on TV and stuff. It's all happening. It then cuts back to our main family, Helen Hunt and her husband and her son, and their sort of dysfunctional goings on. The son doesn't like the mother at all. The husband doesn't like the mother at all, and it turns out that she's been sort of like having an affair, knocking someone off on the side. So that's why it's quite a dysfunctional family, and they're always at each other's throat and arguing. But then there's all sorts of strange things happening in their house. Their house is quite a large house, and sort of plays out as one of the sort of characters in the film. And all sorts of sort of strange things sort of going on in the house, like the TV going on by itself, going off by itself. And it's got a real sort of supernatural feel. It's a bit of a strange film. This is like a little bit of mixture of sort of like three genres, and I'll get to that in a minute. And it's like a little bit of a supernatural thing going on, and sort of Helen Hunt picks up on it, um, and the young lad sort of picks up on it, and some parts the dad sort of picks on it, and there's loads of sort of sarcastic arguments and stuff going on between all three of them throughout the whole sort of film. Um, and while this is going on, the police are still sort of like investigating what's happening with the young lad and stuff like that. So it's still been going investigating, and then they're looking back at the past, because apparently there were two young lads in the past that went missing. I think it was a convicted sort of paedophile who 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 was sort of done for them, and they think this could be like almost like a copycat sort of thing with this other lad that's just gone missing. So the police are trying to trace down what's going on, not really getting too far, to be honest. So that's what's happening in the film, and then it turns out that Helen Hunt's at home one day, and her sort of lover sort of turns up, and they're outside having a chat, and she sort of tells him that no, we can't see each other anymore. Got to try and work this out with my family. You know, he's not really having it, and he gets a bump on the head.
I can't. I don't want to be with you.
Jackie, listen, I know you're scared.
Todd, stop.
Well, what we have, you know this.
Ow! Ow! Oh my God!
Oh, man, what the hell? Jesus. No, I'm fine, I'm fine. I'm fine. I gotta sit down.
No, come with me, come with me.
Okay. All right, honey. Oh my God. What the
So he gets a bump on the head, and I thought it was her son, but it's not. Because what happens from then is that the story then breaks from what's happening and goes backwards again to before all this sort of stuff's happened, and explains what's going on. And what's happened is, while the family are out, two young teens have broken into the house and are living in the attic, because it's a room in the attic that they never ever use. This girl and this boy have moved in on the top floor, and they've been secretly living there for days or weeks. So all these little things that are happening around the house are done by these two. Um, and the boy threw this thing off the roof that hit that guy on the head. It's all sort of things like that. And it all sort of winds around it, and then it turns into sort of like a bit of a slasher film. It's and it's like it turns into sort of like a sort of slasher film, and then it goes through all these things. The guy that got knocked on the head with the with the cup that's fallen on him. Helen Hunt takes him into the garage. Says, "Look, you stay there. I'm going to take the lad to school, and I'll come and see to you when I get back." And she comes back, and he's been killed. Um, and the story sort of goes along like that, and they don't know who's done it. She then asks for the husband to help and shows him the body, and her and the husband decide to bury the body out in the woods, or you know, to sort of like hide it, because they think, again, both of them think it's their son that's done it, and I think if he find out, he won't be able to protect him, so they go to hide the body, and all sorts of things like that. And then the story takes another twisted turn. Um, because we find out who the kidnapper is, and then we find out what the two that live in the attic have got a little bit of the story from the past. So it all sort of folds out into one little story, and it's really really cool the way it sort of unfolds. Um, it's quite like it starts off as a psychological supernatural thriller. Then it sort of turns into like a slasher, and then it turns into like a revenge movie. So it's like three movies rolled into one. That's the synopsis I'm going to give you, because I don't want to tell you too much, because I really want you to watch this yourself. It's a really different sort of horror film, um, and it's quite a different sort of film for Arrow to put out. It is a modern film. It's not like an old film. I think this was made in, I don't know if it's 2019. I'm not sure. Um, but it's quite a recent sort of release. I think it came out in 2021, and yeah, and it's all based in this little village, and so like it's like a really sort of like a strange little story, but I really really liked it. So what do I think of the film? I thought it was really clever. I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was a great watch. Absolutely loved the story, and it's quite gripping, and all the different little twists and turns in the story made me want to say, "Oh, what's this? Wow!" You know, and it's like cool. I kind of saw bits of it coming, because when you see so many horror films, you seem to, but it still surprised me when sort of things happen. It was good to see Helen Hunt in the film as well, in a horror film. So the pluses of the film, the transfer is really nice. It looks gorgeous. Um, a great cast. Helen Hunt plays a really good part in the film. It's a great sort of, although the story's mixed, it's a great story, and it's quite psychological, and it really builds up to an end. The ending, I'm gonna wait for that bit. I'm gonna get to that bit in a minute. I like the soundtrack. The music is awesome in the film. The negatives of the film is the ending. I think the ending could have been executed a bit better. Um, it was kind of like, no, sort of ending. Oh, I wish they'd have done this sort of thing. I'm not saying it's a bad ending, but it wasn't the ending that I was expecting, and the ending I would have liked. So that was the negative for the film. Um, so what am I going to score this film? I'm going to score this film uh, a an a great watch and give it an 8 out of 10. It's definitely a film worth watching if you're on the Amazon streaming. You can stream it, or if you can pick it up at a cheap price, pick it up because it's a really good sort of film, and it's one of those films you probably want to go back to see because to try and work through things out in your head. For oh, if I watch it again, it's one of those films that you'll want to go back to watch. So that's my little review of ICU. That's 8 out of 10. Have any of you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below what you thought of it. I thought it was really cool, quite clever film, and I really enjoyed it. Please check out a few horror channels, please, guys, when you get a chance. Check out Horror Hands, check out The Horror Geek, check out Man v Film, Pizzlewell, I Am Ice Lord, RS Designs, Sarah of Horror. Please check all these amazing channels out, guys. Until next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I do see you all soon.